Suspect wanted for grand larceny leads chase east of San Gabriel Valley. Friday evening, May 9th. The suspect was driving on the eastbound lanes of Interstate 10 in the East San Gabriel Valley. He exited the highway near Fraser Street and was seen driving on the opposite side of the road on surface streets.
At this point, I believe southbound of the 605, and there have been some reports that this vehicle has sideswiped other vehicles, which of course would make it a very dangerous situation. This is the second time in 2 nights that we've had a chase going on right now. From what I understand, going at high speeds, 100 miles per hour on this Friday night. Of course, we know Friday people are out and about. They're out to have a good time. It's only 9:30 about, so many people will be on the road. So moving along at a fast clip, and we are watching, you're watching live right now on Fox Plus, as we try to see what this person might do next. Sky Fox over the scene. So far, weaving a little bit in and out of traffic, but not too much. It's those high speeds, though, that always get you into trouble. Now, there was some indication that this might be CHP. I heard in another report that it actually might be sheriffs in pursuit. But you're watching this live at 9:36 on a Friday night as we watch this vehicle. Looks to be some type of an SUV. This is now Dalewood and St. Valens Street in the East San Gabriel Valley. Moving in and out of traffic, now at about 65 miles per hour, so seems to be dropping speed a little bit. While we're watching this, of course, wondering what would cause this person to flee. Looks to be exiting off the freeway, now on surface streets. This is Fraser Street and Dalewood Street. We were listening last night as Dennis Zine, retired LAPD, was talking about you're actually much safer on the freeway, but when they get on these surface streets, it's so much more dangerous to the general population because of their proximity to homes, to other cars. Now Bess Avenue and Leororda Street in the East San Gabriel Valley. And we know that the initial call was for grand theft. Going right through those stop signs. One more time.
Shortly afterward, the suspect crashed into the parking lot of Kaiser Permanente Baldwin Park Medical Center, located at Peace Street and Judith Street.
Enforcement, how dangerous is this at this point?
Very dangerous. Once you get on the surface streets, you have the cross traffic, you have pedestrians, you have all kinds of things that can happen. And as a pursuing officer, you have to drive your vehicle at a rate that where you can safely navigate streets. But the suspects very rarely do that. But as you see, we went into a parking structure here, so this could have come to an end as they get in here. Normally what they'll do is get out of the car, take off, try to change their clothes, change their look, and then come out of an area of that parking structure where they hope not to find any ground units. But in this case, I'm not seeing any units on the ground surrounding this parking structure. So there's a good chance this suspect may be able to get away.
So they use the parking structure as a means to camouflage, if you will, so they can change their clothes, ditch the car, and then you have a foot bail, right?
Correct. Yeah, they get into the garage. And most of the time, they'll be wearing layers of clothes, and they'll able to take off a jacket, take off a shirt, or switch around. But the one thing they can't and normally change is their shoes. So that's what I always look for when I was a tactical flight officer. If I could get a look at them as they came out of the car. But unfortunately, when they get into structures like this, it's very difficult for the aircraft overhead to handle the chase because they're out of sight. And then when you're in a surveillance mode with no ground units anywhere near, it's hard to cover the exits of that parking structure. And once the units come on scene, 2 to 3 minutes later, it's pretty much too late. So right now, it's unless they have security cameras and security in that parking structure, there's a pretty good chance that person is not going to be caught tonight.
Tim, we're told that this is Kaiser, Baldwin Park. This is the garage there. I mean, how would you like to be the unlucky person who's got an emergency tonight? You're at the hospital, and now you've got a guy who's leading police on a chase and is wanted for grand theft, according to authorities. I mean, that's a potentially dicey situation as he tries to get the heck out of there, right?
Well, they could, pull over and find a car coming in and then end up carjacking that car and then just driving out normally, and the police wouldn't know any of the better. They would be able to just drive right by units because they're looking for a different type of vehicle until that victim can get the information out. But that's one thing you always look for at the end of these pursuits is situations like that. But what they normally do is they'll just blend in. They'll try to walk out normally, just kind of go in with a group of people, or just walk out like everything's okay, and hopefully they can get out of the perimeter area. But like I said, it's really a double-edged sword. When they go into surveillance mode, you're, one, giving the people on the ground a chance to slow down. The suspect, they hope that they will slow down, either pull over and stop thinking they're not being chased, and then let the air unit take over. But in a situation like this, when they get so far ahead and there's not enough ground units around, it just really is hard to capture them. So you always run that risk. So do we stay with them, stay close, or do we back off and let them go? But you see CHP officers here just now starting to block off the exits.
Yeah.
And at this point, there's a good chance that he's already departed that parking structure. And being the hospital, they probably do have a good surveillance system there. And hopefully somebody has gone over to that security.
Within minutes, officers located him and placed him in handcuffs.
We think that most of the time these guys never get caught, but if you think a little bit ahead and you're able to leave on foot, then you are able to elude authorities. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's true. Parking structures do offer that opportunity, but if you work the situation calmly and completely, like, first thing you do is get somebody to the security for this and see if they have cameras and watch on camera. We had a pursuit one day going to the Universal parking lot there at Universal Studios, and they were able to tell the police officer which car that person was hiding in, because the person got out of his car, walked a couple rows over, got into a vehicle that was unlocked, and hid in the back of the car. But with their surveillance system, they were able to track him and tell the officers exactly where he was hiding. But in this situation, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case here. But, we'll just wait and see.
All right, Tim Lynn, we thank you so much for your perspective tonight. We're going to leave that scene that started on the freeway there. We believe the person is now on foot. He was wanted initially for grand theft, and we're going to move on to other news tonight. Thanks again, Tim.